Well, hello everybody. How's it going? So it's another Wednesday night chat, and I hope you guys are enjoying these more frequent live feeds. Now that the studio is up and running, I feel pretty good about doing this on a little more often. I mean, sometimes I just don't have the ability to get online here, but I do tonight, and I'm happy to be here. I've actually learned a new trick about my camera. It's always had trouble with focus. It's a decent quality camera, but you can actually set it to manual focus. And since I'm not moving around, well, I was easy to focus. So there you go. Can you honk? Destroyed the cable from my Comet antenna mount. Oh no, trunk lip severed it over time. Gonna need to secure it better. Skip was great. Ontario, Canada, picking up Florida and Cali. Yeah, man. So like 2 days ago, Monday, it was like Skip was going crazy here right up until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then done. I was doing a lot of filming. So for anyone saying that they that they miss CB radio and radio related videos, just hang tight. I just need to edit about 8,000 of them now, but they're there. So, and then yesterday, not so much, and today a little bit in the morning, a little bit here this evening, but not as good as it was Monday. Monday was just great. Jordan B, good to see you, brother. How's California treating you? 741, good to see you in here. Connecticut is always on my mind ever since traveling up there last year. M8 saying welcome back to everybody. North Coast Hobby, hello, man. So North Coaster Hobby is like satellite and antenna stuff, and I love it. I'm a big C-band and KU band antenna fan, like satellite dishes. I just hugely make sure I'm facing this thing. Hopefully the audio is better. I have this going through streaming software, so better mic, better camera, and all that. But so yeah, North Coaster Hub's got like all kinds of satellite stuff, and I love it. I love it. So a couple years ago, I made some videos on C-band and KU band, and I have a KU band that even though it's on a motor, like 99% of the time it's stuck on one channel. And same thing with C-band. Even though I'm able to scan the sky, I leave it on a station or a satellite. I can't remember which one it is, and maybe you can help me out with this, but it's like tons of radio feeds, thousands of radio feeds, and I've got that hooked up there. I've been meaning to make a video on that one particular satellite, but I'll probably get around to that. T-Dog, hello from Perrysburg, Ohio. Good to see you, brother. Hey, Perrysburg, Ohio, is that close enough to a Skyline chili? Because when I went to Dayton, Ohio, I had Skyline, and I loved it so much, I had it again. It was some good stuff. Glenn saying good evening, loving the new studio. Thank you, man. A couple of changes behind me here. I would keep adding like things to put on the wall back there, and of course that'll change as the years go on. But I've been filming some videos up here, and it's feeling good. A lot of the videos, though, it's the first time in a different setting with different lighting and a different background, and so I've even asked in my videos, please let me know better lighting, different angles. What do you want from me? So I look forward to you guys enjoying those videos, and I look forward to your comments on how I can improve it. The whole idea of this was to improve the channel. So there we go. KC5TGT Radios and More. Hello from Mississippi. Good to see you in here, my friend. Storm Radios and Cats. Always good to have you in here. Hello from Kentucky DX. All right. JJ the Outlaw. Hello from Georgia, man. See, we got people from all over the place. 105 West. That's exactly the one, man. Tons of radio stations. And I got an Edison 4K, I think it is, that I think Robbie Strike recommended, and it decodes all of those. Nothing illegal, by the way. I'm not talking about descrambling stuff. It's just you have to have the right receiver in order to pick up certain signals on satellite, and that one gets it. So, looked like I had a little hiccup there. Hopefully you guys are getting a good quality. So this is wireless. I have extended range antennas on both sides of this setup. So hopefully this is good. I've upped the bandwidth, upped the bit rate here to try to make a little better quality. But you guys will have to let me know if it's choppy or whatnot. Hopefully the audio is better as well. Storms Radio and Cats, I have the same Radio Shack mixer. Had it since it first came out. Bit rough, but it still works. Yeah, man, that's cool. You can see that back there. So, yeah, I picked that up at Dayton Hamfest, and or Dalton Hamfest, whichever one it is. Is it Dalton or Dayton? Somebody, yeah, well, if you wrote it out, it wouldn't really help me. But, yeah, I guess it would anyway. Yeah, I picked that up. $5, and it works beautifully. I'm going to eventually transition that over for filming new episodes of the Midnight Cafe. I still am stuck with hold on, I'll pull it out here. Oh, I can't pull it out. I've got a Radio Shack mixer that is for VCRs. Like it was to enhance video signal and also add audio. So you could add two audio sources plus a mic and do video as well. But it's like that's what I got my started on, and it was something I bought and kept, and I still use it. Like I will buy stuff and use it, and then I end up going back to it. So hopefully this is the one that I use and I keep here. But MA says I missed the intro. Love it. You got it, my friend. Looks great, my friends. William Oswald, good to see you in here. 5-5 on the connection. Awesome, good, man. Glenn saying all good on the audio and the video. It's not choppy. Sound is good. Resolution a bit low, but nothing to complain about. AV quality is great. Yeah, so I have to be careful. So they were saying when I set this up, it did a test of how far back and forth it would go and what kind of bandwidth it could handle. Then it was saying 10,000 bits, whatever that is. I felt like even at the house sometimes I was using 1,500, not 10,000, but 1,500. So I changed it to 5,000. Splitting the difference, so it should be a little clearer. Maybe 480p. Let's hope it's at least DVD quality, or maybe a little bit less. But again, the camera is a 1080p camera from Logitech, but it's got some years on it now, so I don't know how well it's working. Maybe someday I'll get a better camera, but it's so hard to find the camera that you want, when it comes to streaming. And be honest with you, we're looking at getting a new video camera for filming, because the one that I got, I've probably filmed 800 or 900 hours worth of content on it, and it's starting to not look as great as it once did. It's got some years on it, so I'm hopeful that happens, man. Bro Weaver, still sounds like you're in an empty room. Not bad, but better than last time. So I am. So I've got you. I can't really move the camera around here, but I've got some curtains up that's helping to dampen it. I put 2 posters up. There is a big item that's going to hang on that wall. Hopefully that'll dampen it, although it is a hard item. I did put in carpeting. We're thinking about putting a throw rug down to help with it a little bit. But the truth is, man, it's not home yet, and a lot of it is hard walls. I wanted to keep it as open as possible for filming, so I don't know. We'll continue to work on it. Quadrajet said, still looking forward to more Midnight Cafe. It's coming. I think it's one of the biggest disappointments of this summer has been that, aging is part of the problem. I keep getting older and I keep slowing down. I had a huge list of things that I wanted to accomplish while the weather is good here. And unfortunately, I'm having a hard time with that. I'm getting it all done, but I'm so far behind. I was hoping to have a new episode of the Midnight Cafe for broadcast on the air on July 4th. That was going to be the first of an 8-episode or 6-episode run, and I haven't filmed the first episode. So it's kind of unfortunate that that's the way life works sometimes. But it's with the new studio and a dedicated space to do this stuff, man. I'm hoping to make those dreams come true. So hang in there, Quadrajet. Jamaica Dog saying just made it in after the 40 meter net. Good, man. Appreciate it. Always good to see you in here. Storm Radios and Cat says that mixer has run many versions of my heavy metal Part 15 AM FM station. Right on, dude. So I got a great. I wish I had had the time to download this. The winner of the last FM station that I gave away here is a great guy. He's down by the coast, not the coast, by a lake, and he set it up. He's an old broadcaster, kind of retired now, and so he knows, man. He has a station is up. He sent me some clips of it, jingles, weather. I mean, this guy has got this thing set up better than most professional stations are. And then about 2 weekends ago, he said movies by the lake, and they had a whole bunch of boats parked out on the lake. He blew up one of those giant inflatable movie screens like I've got and was broadcasting the movie audio on that so everyone out there on their boats could watch the movie and listen in. And I just thought, man, that is so cool. I've given away 4 radio stations now in the last 4 years, or 3 years, I guess it's been. One of them went to Poland. I assume it's doing well there. The other 2, I never heard back from. So I always wonder, did they get used? Are they being set up? And Storm Radio and Cats, man, I'm so happy that you have a radio station that you're running it, man. So that's sweet. William Oswald, watching from the farm field, spraying beans, helping out the neighbors. I hear you. So you're doing that on a phone. Isn't it crazy how we can I don't know. It just blows me away what we can do on the go these days. Michael Root saying things sound good. Joe R says I need a studio mascot. I love bringing my cats up here. Some of them are brave and love it. Some of them are not so brave and don't love it. I thought about bringing one up, but by the time I leave here tonight, it'll be so late, and it's quite a walk back to the house. I was afraid of carrying that little booger down there. If she got loose, we got a lot of predators. That cat's deaf. She wouldn't do well at all. So, MA says one task at a time, buddy. You're not kidding about that. Bro Weaver wants to know, do you have Midnight Cafe episodes that you aired on WBCQ available for download? I do. What's the easiest way for you to get to them? If you go to my website, farpointfarms.com, I believe they're available for download there, but the music is not there. You know, I don't have the rights to the copyrighted music that I play during those BCQ episodes. And I will be broadcasting on with them again. I had an offer to do a show on WRMI, and I turned it down because I just can't keep up with that every week. And they wanted to do it every week, and I just couldn't do it. Even at 30 minutes, I just can't do it. I want to produce something that's quality for radio, and I just couldn't do it. So WBCQ is where I'll be broadcasting the next season. And I think at least one of the episodes is on the Midnight Cafe channel, again, without the extra audio. It's also a podcast. All the episodes, I think, or most of the ones that I'm allowed to. Like, there's ones that are copyrighted by companies that I worked with over the years, and so I can't put those up. But the ones that I've produced, the ones that I've made, are available on the podcast, I think. So you'll have to check into that, man. Can You Honk says, do you have an Amazon wish list for supporters that wish to purchase stuff for the channel? Man, that is a great idea. I don't. I don't, but maybe I'll look into that. I had no idea that was even a thing. I'll check into that, my friend. Intimidator, love your CB stuff. You're going to love, holy cow. So today I filmed 2 CB videos. On Monday I filmed 8 CB videos. 9 CB videos, actually. I filmed some stuff related to air guns. How's that for a little bit different? I filmed some repair stuff for the other channel. The other channel, I'm kind of out of content. I've been so busy. I thought this summer I would be able to film some automotive stuff, but I've been too busy doing stuff to actually film it. So that channel's kind of struggling a little bit. I like to put out at least 2 videos a week. On this channel, there'll be 8 videos out this week. On the other channel, you get 2. Next week, you probably only get 1. So that channel is not dying or anything. That it's, I can't do it unless I get around to filming stuff that I'm working on, and I have to get customer permission and whatnot. So a lot of the time, the stuff you see on that channel is my own cars. The audio, it says I've got a problem with audio here. You guys still hearing me okay? U.S. man, howdy, from Alabama, getting the station back to get back up and running. Pump up the volume, Breakfast Clubs for life, working on a long wire antenna. Awesome, man. Can You Honk says, do it. Awesome. Jamaican Dog says, I want a pirate radio station to transmit the Midnight Cafe in Spanish with an English translation. We need that here. I love it. Storm Radio Cat says 5x5. Yeah, I don't know. YouTube just popped up a little bit of a warning there, but if it's working, it's working. Bro Weaver, how much slower does a car job take when filming it versus not filming the work, not counting video editing? About 3 times as long, and that's the problem. Yeah, I'm not on a laptop mic. I've actually got a decent quality mic here. Hopefully you can see it. That's the one I usually use for this sort of stuff. I did take off the wind part of it, but so 3 times. Yeah, if I'm lucky, maybe twice. But obviously, you're stopping, you're talking to the camera, you're telling it what you're about to do. Like, hey, now we're going to remove this. That slows you down a little bit. Getting the camera and the lighting into an area so you can get to it, that slows you down a little bit. But what really slows you down is, oftentimes, if I'm going to take something off, I want to be right here to take it off. Well, if I'm right here taking it off, then the camera can't see it. So trying to do the same job while you're sitting sideways or reaching around is hugely frustrating, and it's sometimes that just becomes too much, and I'll toss it. And there's a lot of half-made videos in the automotive channel that just don't get finished because I'm like, I don't have time for this, or something goes wrong and it just frustrates the heck out of me, and you don't want to see me cursing up a storm. So there you go, Bro Weaver. Deuce One, your CB videos are awesome. Can't wait to see you feature a CB radio that can operate AM, FM, and SSB. They're coming. They're coming. President has assured me by the end of the year there should be something available. I don't know if I'm supposed to announce that on the radio or on TV or whatever, but whatever. Intimidator says audio is fine. I'm doing the best I can, guys. I don't know what else to do. I could hang a curtain or something behind me. Barney's saying hit the like button if you haven't. I appreciate that, man. Please do. Night Owl, my gosh. That's a long-time fan right there. Night Owl, good to see you from Athens, Georgia. That's awesome. So another video I made was, who here remembers 5-inch black and white portable TV sets? I picked one up, new in the box, and I was filming it. I was like, oh, let's unbox this thing. I had no idea if it was even going to work. I take it out, and holy cow, if the thing wasn't one of those late model ones that actually had an AV input on the back. So, as we speak, that TV set is now permanently mounted in here. I'm using it. I've got Godzilla versus Mothra playing in the background here. And it's just so nostalgic to have those little black and white TVs. I had two of them for ages and ages and ages. And some reason, 2 or 3 years ago, I threw them both out. The second they were gone, I was like, why? Why did I do that? And I've been looking for a good deal on one ever since, and I found one. So I hope you guys will enjoy that video when it comes out. I'm enjoying playing with the thing, that's for sure. I watched War of the Worlds on it the other night, and it's just so cool. So let's see here. Jordan B. Curious. I'm thinking of getting an office shed in my background. Did you run Ethernet to your studio or Wi-Fi? It's just Wi-Fi. So, and I'm 320 feet from the router, 320 feet. You would think that would be an impossible thing, but I have a USB wire that goes over to the window, and I have an antenna that's about yay tall. It costs $30 on Amazon, and I get 30, 40 megabits, whatever it is per second download and upload. So I had thought about running cabling when I ran the wiring up here. And it wasn't, compared to the wiring, which was brutal, it wasn't all that much. But every test that I ran up here, it was fine. Another surprise was, and I still have a landline, my phone works up here. Just barely, but it'll ring, I can get a message, and then I can walk down towards the house, if it's something I need to talk to. But that way I don't miss messages while I'm working up here. Let's see here. Yeah, Steve's saying, let's see here. Anthony, my grandsons love your opening song to your videos and sing along to it. Yeah, there ain't nothing like living a simple life. So that was written by Marky Shaw, and unfortunately I haven't heard from him in ages, but I still send him money every Christmas. He never asked for anything for that song, but I mean, it's such a great song. Why wouldn't I pay for it, And Steve says, yes, even had a 12-inch Zenith black and white. Yeah, that's what I had growing up too, and my grandma's house, that's all they had was black and white TV until she passed. And that would have been, Star Trek The Next Generation was on, so it would have been in the late 80s at least. Glenn says, had one of those TVs with AM and FM. This one does. It has AM, FM. AM was terrible reception, but the FM actually picked up a station or two. Joe R. says, what was my favorite TV show from the 80s? I'll give you 3. Knight Rider and A-Team. And then the late 80s, it would be Star Trek The Next Generation. From the 70s, I was a young kid, so I'd say the original Incredible Hulk, maybe Wonder Woman. And then there's some of the sitcoms from the 70s. And then there's Maude is one that I like now, like stuff that maybe I didn't get as a kid. Never liked MASH, though, I was talking to somebody else. They said the same thing. It was always on. Parents always watched it. Never liked it. Never liked it. KT Studios, hello. I've never seen you before on this channel, but I'm just here to tell you I hope you have a great day and you do well. Well, thank you. I appreciate it, my friend. I appreciate it. Jamaica Dog says, I've been learning Spanish for over a year, so the Midnight Cafe in Spanish is coming. That's awesome. You are welcome. The Midnight Cafe, the episodes that I own, and are all free to air. So you can rebroadcast them, you can modify them, you can cut them up and repost them on your channel. I don't care. I'm happy that people are using it and having a good time with it. Megan B, always good to have you in here. Apologies for being late. No worries, This is later. This is like past my bedtime, but I've been trying to do these later just because I figure more people on the West Coast are still, are home at this point, as opposed to doing them at 6 when most of them are still driving or stuck in traffic or whatnot. M8 saying engage. You got that right. Boy, I sure loved. I actually did love the Star Trek Picard this last season. I watched that with my wife, and we thought, what a great send off. A little sad to see everybody so old. Because it's weird, because I'm like the same age I was in 1987, so I don't understand what's going on there. But yeah, everybody else just got old. It's kind of weird. Crypto Limbo. Hey, Eric, how's the satellites doing? Would you suggest buying a C-band dish and a KU-band dish? Most? Definitely, yes. Super fun to play with. KU-band, nice, inexpensive way to get into it. Lots of stuff out there, especially if you get one with a mover, and a decent receiver. Just remember, KU-band is going to be like the weird stuff. The weird random stuff, where C-band is going to be more of your actual channel. So it depends on what you want. I will say I watch KU-band more and I listen to C-band more, if that makes any sense. Mike Cricket, always great to see you in here, my friend. Good to see you in. Joe R says Dukes of Hazzard and the Fall Guy. Dukes of Hazzard, heck yeah, man. I watch that all the time in reruns. And gosh, it was like Dukes of Hazzards. Who didn't love Gilligan's Island? You can't go wrong with Gilligan's Island. The Brady Bunch. Gosh, I Dream of Jeannie. Oh my gosh, if you didn't have the hots for her, I don't know. But those were all like the reruns, and we only got 3 channels, so we took what we could get. Ken Yu Hong says the farm name, it must originate with episode 1. You win a prize. You are correct, sir. That is exactly correct. It is. It was it's kind of twofold. We were moving. We moved to a very remote location on purpose, and we were like, what should we call it? And I was like, well, it's probably the farthest point out we'll live, and that's where we were like, wait, Farpoint. We do Farpoint Farm. And then when I signed up for this channel here and the email and all that, Farpoint Farm was taken, so we made it Farpoint Farms, and it's worked. And I guess technically it's farms because I do grow crops, but I also have critters. In fact, we got a bunch of turkeys down there right now and chickens, and enjoying the turkeys. They're the white turkeys. They don't have a long shelf life, if you know what I mean, but they're hilarious, and they don't have a whole lot of cares in the world. Let's put it that way. Bro Weaver, were you ever a WCW fan back in the late 80s? Hogan told us to take our vitamins. Yes, so I never got to watch real wrestling on cable TV, but there was Saturday mornings, there was like a recap where they'd play like 1 or 2 episodes, and it would be like Cyndi Lauper. It was the Rock and Wrestle era that we got that station. I would watch all that stuff. Hulk Hogan, and it was Sergeant Slaughter, like all the greats, Macho Man Randy Savage. And then later on, when I finally got, a little bit ahead in life, I wouldn't say, rich or anything, but when I finally got my own place and I got a really good job, I finally got cable TV, and it was like 1997 or 98, I think. I think it might have been the winter of 97 I got cable, and it was like the perfect time to get back into wrestling because it was Stone Cold and The Rock and all that stuff, and I watched it probably from 98 through 2000, and then I stopped watching it again because it kind of got a little bit fun. But it was a good run. And WCW I caught in reruns, on the internet here and there, because all the cool stars from WWF went there before disappearing. Deplorable NYC Prepper. Which Godzilla? Is it the original from the 60s or the remake? Also, you got to show your Godzilla collection. Oh man. So I have like every Godzilla DVD that they made, and I used to have a lot of the tapes, but my last VCR is acting up, so I don't have any of those left. But here, I'll tell you what, I shouldn't do this because it's going to mess with the focus, but hold on. I'll show it for just a second. There you go. There's there's Godzilla versus Mothra. And that's it. I'm watching it on the Naxa TV set there. And it doesn't come across very well there, but it actually plays pretty well in person. It looks just fine, so it's kind of fun. Kind of fun to be doing that stuff here. A little bit cool. Oh, that's so weird. So YouTube is trying to get me to put an ad in. I'm just going to ignore that. All right, Jamaica Dog, we need to plan another shrimp dinner this fall. Yeah, and I don't know. This is a story I want to tell the world. So Jamaica Dog reached out to me. It's got to be 2 years now, right? And he said, "Hey, we're coming up to your area. We're going to be getting this place, and we'd love to have you join us for, a nice shrimp dinner." And me and my wife were like, "Let's do it. Let's do it." So we drove out. It was about maybe 45 minutes to an hour where he was staying, him and his wife and brother, and it was great. So we go there, we're having dinner, we had a great time. In fact, on the way home, and I don't know if I've ever told you this, Jamaica Dog, my wife said, "Man, I wish they lived like here because I could see us hanging out with them all the time." And it was. It was just like we were old friends, and it was the first time we ever sat together. But it was a great, great time. But there was a comment your wife made. We're hanging out, we're watching. We've been sitting for probably 2-3 hours just talking, and your wife asked me something, and I can't remember the exact wording of it, but basically she was saying, "Well, it's probably kind of weird, hanging out with people over the internet." And I was like, "Yeah, you never know. Show up someplace, go meet a fan of the channel, and who knows what's going to be there." And she was like, "Y'all are crazy, And I mean, it is a little bit absurd. Go meet a stranger, probably end up, chopped up and buried in the backyard. But with Jamaica Dog, we had a great time, and I loved it, man. I loved it. Joe saying he went to school with Hugh. No kidding. Yeah, he was in one of the reboot or the reimagining or whatever it was called. Oh, Megan's saying MacGyver. Heck yeah, I remember MacGyver. For some reason, I feel like MacGyver didn't come in well, or I probably would have watched it a whole lot more often. Saying my video cut out is what Mike Cricket is saying, or maybe it's his phone. So you all let me know. I'm gonna have to. Oh my gosh, you guys have been going here. Larry Mason, studio looks and sounds great. What's the story on the campaign hat on your shelf? You can see that. I'll get into that another night, my friend. How's that sound? Always liked the Rockford Files. Yeah, I watch that in reruns to this day. I think it was on Antenna TV for a while there, but I haven't seen it probably in a year. But I used to like that show. John C. saying he really likes CB and shortwave radio videos. Thanks and keep them coming. You got it, bud. So now that everything is set up, videos should go back more towards normal. Although I'll be honest, I do enjoy variety. I know I did a lot of reviews, but some of the videos that I put in between, like today, I put out 2 videos on traveling. And so I know people generally come here for either repair stuff or CB stuff, but I hope that you can take the time to enjoy some of the other things I enjoy in life. Steve Assay says, "Remember the clicker? Hard to think some people these days have no idea where the clicker came from." Yeah, exactly. Crypto Limbo, thanks Eric for the answer. I love the channel, been watching for years. No problem, my friend. Mike Cricket saying, "It was me." Jordan B, Megan B, MacGyver was one of my favorite shows back in the day. Oh yeah, yeah, it was a good show. I feel like I think I caught like the last 2 seasons and not like the first few because of maybe we were moving houses and I got better reception. Joe R saying ECW was great wrestling. Never got into ECW, but then again, I got cable at that point, but I think I was just happy with Stone Cold and the bunch. Butch saying, hello, my friend, stuck here. Hey, I have used your early video to fix my 88 Cabriolet. Thank you, man. Holy cow, stuck here. You are old school if you know about the Rusty Rabbit. That's some old stuff right there. I actually am in the process of filming those CIS, like fuel injection repair videos in a more modern and maybe more mature adult sense. But I'm glad that I was able to help you all the way back in 1997 or 8. I think I filmed those. That was VHS for sure, my friend. That was the first year that YouTube existed. Brian Jennings, I want a Turner. I want that. Yeah, I haven't even plugged it in yet, man. I've had that thing for like 2 years, and I've never tried it out, but I should. You're totally right. And maybe I'll dust it off if I decide to sell it. I'll let you know. I've got a great, I don't know if you might have seen it when I scanned over, but I've got a nice new Striker radio here, and I'm going to plan on getting a bass mic for it. And I was hoping that expanded 500 would work because that'd be the one I'd use. Joe's saying he's been watching reruns of 21 Jump Street. Loved it. Watched like the first 2 or 3 seasons and then kind of lost interest in that. What was the other one? There was like Richard Grieco or something. What was his show that was on after it? There was another one there. Megan B, the sad ice cream stand. That was a great video. Yeah, man. So we're just driving around and we came across that, and that place looked so cool. Like, how did that go out of business, man? It's just such a bummer. Such a bummer. Mike Crick is saying X-Files reruns on HDTV. Been watching it all night. It's weird how the government is finally admitting there's something out there. Yeah, we're living in the era of disclosure. I mean, they had those meetings, and members of the government literally said, yeah, we're in possession of craft. Some of those craft had non-Earth biologics in them. It's like you think it would be news, but the only thing on the news is politics. And I think that the way that the country is collapsing, that's how they're going to keep us busy. But it's incredible to people who pay attention to the other stories. Like the U.S. credit rating got downgraded. That's huge, huge news. And I bet none of you here even heard about it. That's earth-shattering news. But hey, let's talk about another charge, But yeah, aliens are real. They're here. And we have a few of their ships. Pretty cool. JD Man says, oh man, I'm hung on Andy Griffith's channel on Pluto. Andy Griffith, man. I'll tell you what. Mayberry. I'm only about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours from Mayberry. I've never been down there. My mom's been down there a few times. And, I like it. It predates my time on Earth, thankfully. But I still dig it. It's wholesome. Storm Radios and Cats. Richard Dean Anderson moved on to do Stargate SG-1. Yeah, and so I'm on like 3 occasions I've tried to watch Stargate. I loved the movie. We made it through the first season of the series when it was on Roku on one of those channels there, and I cannot get into it, man. Joe R., you talking about Booker T? Oh, Booker. That's what I was thinking of, Booker T wrestling, but Booker. Yeah, that was the name of that show. You're right. William Oswald, my K40 stopped working. Any suggestions other than replacing it with the same? I've always been a fan of tram antennas. I feel like they're the bargain in the business. They're quality products. They perform nearly as well, if not exactly as well, as a K40 or a Wilson, and are usually $20 cheaper. Bush saying his favorite was the A-Team. I mean, who didn't like B.A. Baracus? He pities the fool, right? What does it mean when the U.S. credit rating went down? You're right, I didn't hear anything. I mean, it's not good, brother. It means that the world doesn't think that we're sound. Like, think about credit when it comes to your own credit, right? If you fail to make payments on your house or fail to make credit card payments, your credit rating goes down. The U.S.'s credit rating just went down. I mean, that's an indication that the rest of the world is like, phew, the collapse is accelerating. There we go. So William and Barney both heard it. Right on, brother. Megan B. Oh, yeah, the A-Team. That's right. Storm Radio and Cast, they're continuing to play Stargate series, but you have to pay to play now. Yeah. Now, I liked, it's a great show that I caught right when I got cable TV. It was on the Sci-Fi channel when it was awesome. Sci-Fi used to be awesome. They used to play Godzilla marathons all the time. And it was Farscape. And one of those guys went on to do Stargate. One of the spin-offs, but I loved Farscape. It was a crime that got canceled. Luckily, they brought it back for a movie, but the movie didn't do it as much justice as it could have. But yeah, if you've never seen Farscape, I don't know what I'm calling it, but Farscape is really, really good. Joe R. says he recommends watching the TV show Prison Break. I remember the commercials for it, but I've never seen it. Crypto Limbo, Battlestar Galactica, and Chips. I mean, yeah, both of those are classic. I've seen the original. I've got the original Battlestar on DVD. It's such a great show. I liked the remake somewhat. There were great moments. The miniseries was absolutely incredible. And, some of the episodes were great. Some of them were just a little bit weird. Yeah. I hear you, JD144. That's probably where... But it's not, you can blame it on him, but let's blame it on all of us, man. Every president since Nixon has been doing that. I have not seen Yellowstone. We don't have paid channel. We don't have cable. I only have Roku, and the only channel we pay for is YouTube, if that's weird enough for you. I do pay... Actually, I take that back. We do pay for Paramount because my mom wanted it, and so we're splitting it with her. But maybe Yellowstone's on Paramount? I don't know. Oh, V. Oh, my gosh, yeah. The miniseries, V, The Final Battle, and then I watched the whole season, that was on when they came out with that. And Quantum Leap had hit or miss. I loved it, man. Farscape was awesome, Megan. Totally. Buck Rogers, yeah. I only caught Buck Rogers in reruns, and so I never like got an idea. They only had it on for a little while, and they kind of changed the story around a bit the second season. But I liked it definitely. And what was her name? Erin. My gosh, she was a beautiful woman. Still is, I'm sure. Prison Break was on around the same time as Lost and Heroes. We watched like the first few episodes of Lost, and then I think we were just too busy in life to sit down and watch it. V on DVD, yeah. Sword Slinger Custom Holters. What kind of GMSR antenna for a base station do you recommend? I have from Midland a 6 dB gain antenna that's like a mag mount, and I put it on the roof up here. It works fine. And it actually good reception. In the wintertime, I hear the slopes, the FRS channels. I hear all the kids and their parents talking on the ski slopes. They're about, I don't know, 25 miles, but by the way the crow flies, you can see them on a cold morning. Well, you have a favorite cartoon as a child? That would have been G.I. Joe. Yeah, G.I. Joe, maybe He-Man and She-Ra too, but those were the ones I watched. SNES Nostalgia, hey, love your channel. Well, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. Butch, when I was a kid, there was a show called Johnny Sacco. I remember that. Didn't he have a robot? Johnny Sacco and his robot? Yeah, I feel like I've seen that one. A good series is Person of Interest. Okay, I've not heard of that one either. Jamaica Talk, you're hurting my feelings, brother. This Saturday, I'll be 66 years old, and look out, Eric, the joint pain only gets worse. So I've been suffering, my friend. I got arthritis in the knees really, really bad. My right knee was swollen about twice the normal size and stayed that way. I couldn't get down on my knees. I'm trying to do work. I'm trying to do some filming, and I would have to like sit down on my butt because I can't kneel. And that's the knee that I always go down on first. So it's finally starting to let up. It's just extremely painful, but not swollen. So yeah, it's getting better. JD saying love Star Trek Next Generation as well. It was just a good show. It was wholesome. It was a time when television still taught us morals. Like there was a message that was being told, and I think modern television shows that's lost. If there's a message being told, it's not one that I'm listening to with modern television. And Megan saying, yeah, and I'm not, yeah. And I think people are always surprised to hear this. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I guess I would most likely identify as an independent, perhaps a libertarian. There is enough blame to go around. I feel, and there was a beautiful picture that I printed out at one point. It's gone now. Two heads of the same snake, my friends. If they can keep us doing this, we'll never be able to do this. And that's what they do. And the media is part of the establishment that does that. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Jeff Adams, hello from Michigan. Okay, we can't talk about sci-fi without mentioning MST3K. Sir, I'm about to break some hearts. Didn't like it. Love all the shows. I am a B-movie fan. Oh my God, I watch garbage. Gamera, Godzilla, was Gappa, Konga. Like, if it's got a monster in it or small cities that get smashed, I'm down with it. But I never appreciated MST3K, Mystery Science Theater 3000. Never thought it. The best show nowadays is The Righteous Gemstones. Haven't even heard of it. Yeah. Butch saying, yeah, it was a giant robot. Johnny Sacco and the robot. Yep, and I've seen a few episodes of that. Did I hear you mention in a video earlier that your studio started as a prefab shed? How was the quality of it off the truck? I'm very pleased. So we priced it doing it ourselves. I built every building on this property up until this one. And I could have done it cheaper, no doubt about that. I could have done it cheaper. But it would have taken a full year for me to do it. And in the end, I'm not sure that I could have done it better or even as good as what they did here. Does that pretty much sum it up? Now, what I did have to do, though, is drywall, insulation, wiring, carpeting, painting, you name it, like all that. And right now, as you can see behind me, it looks like a regular room in a regular house because that's what it feels like, and that's pretty much what it is. The other side out there, the shop, feels like a shop. So I'm very happy with it. They did give me a deal Oddly enough, I did some advertising for them, not on YouTube. They had me film a commercial, so I'm happy to do it. And it was in another state, so I'm even happier to do it. So I've never seen the commercials, but I hope they came out well, and they were happy. They gave me quite a cut. So Lost in Space. Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. I can't believe I forgot that one. But love it. Yeah, love Lost in Space. Black and white and in color. Bro Weaver says, yeah, how did they get that studio building up the drive? With great effort. They brought 3 machines. I used my tractor. My wife used a Husqvarna. And it was slip sliding all over the place. It was, at one point they said they didn't think they were going to be able to pull it off. But there's no other flat spot on the property. So it was like that or nothing. So they got it. But man, it was, well, the first day they delivered it, it made it about 20 feet up the grass, and then they got stuck with. They just had the one vehicle, and so they came back a week later and brought the entire, the entire infantry came with them to get it done, man. So they got it. Modern television is garbage. I do like Stargate though. Yeah, I agree, man. Swordslinger, I agree. Storm Radio says, "Don't worry, The Simpsons will predict the next chaotic event." Does anybody else feel like, I can't believe that I was watching? I don't remember what her name was, but when Fox first came out, and we were watching The Simpsons as a short, and here we are, like 8 zillion years later, and as I understand it, The Simpsons are still on. So that's pretty crazy. But yes, they'll predict it, whatever's going to happen. SNES Nostalgia wants to know if I've ever watched Doctor Who. I have. Never got into it, man. And like, I love science fiction stuff, but I just never got into it. Love the theme song though. Love it. Yeah. Prefer Mystery Science Theater with Mike. Joel was boring. Like, it had its moments, man. Like there were days that I watched it or nights that I watched it. I used to get off of work at midnight. I worked 2 jobs for like 8 years, and I would get up at I kid you guys not. I get up at 6. Take a shower, stop at a gas station and grab something to eat, and be at work at 7, and I would work there until 5, and then in the bathroom there I would change, and then it would take me about a half hour, and I would get to the other place about 5:45. They wanted me there at 5:30, but I just couldn't do it, and they understood. But I started at 6, and I'd work till 11, and then we had the store closed at 11, and then we'd work until 11:30, counting money and making sure everything was put up for the night. And then I'd head home, and oh my gosh, yeah, so midnight, and then you'd get home and you'd still have to have dinner and wind down, and still I was living off of 3 hours of sleep for a good portion of my 20s. But I paid off all my debts at the time. I had some injuries and medical bills I wasn't insured for, so holy cow. Yeah, but I watched a lot of Mystery Science Theater because it was what was on, and like the B movies. And I'll tell you, it started at a time where sign-off was still a thing. Who here remembers that? Like when you turn on the TV and the 11 o'clock news would come on, or the midnight news, and then it would sign off. They'd play the fighter jets and the Pledge of Allegiance, and then it would go to static. So there were very few channels. But once I got cable, Sci-Fi Channel used to play those in reruns all night long. So we do that. Megan B says, we all, Democrats, Republicans, etc., are being told half-truths. If you want to laugh, go to a matinee of the Barbie movie. It is not a children's movie. Yeah, and like, I don't get caught up in the, like, I went and saw Indiana Jones, and people were like, oh, it's woke, whatever the heck that means, and it's this and that. Man, it was just Indiana Jones. It was a fun movie. I enjoyed it. I try not to read too much into it, So I've heard a lot of stuff about Barbie, people blowing a fuse over Barbie, but it's like, it's Barbie. Just chill. It'll be okay. William Oswald says he still uses his VCR, and it reminds me when things were a little slower. Time flies. I was using my last remaining VCR today. The remote's dead, so I can't adjust the tracking, and no matter how many times I clean it's very bad visually. So I think it's time for me to either try to hunt down a good used VCR or get rid of the last, 10 or 12 tapes that I have. But I do still appreciate a VCR. And like with a TV set like the one I showed you here a few minutes ago, the picture quality is great when you're looking at it on a 5-inch screen. Oh my gosh, William Oswald says he got Lost in Space on a laser disc. Wow, man. And Jeff saying I did a good job on the inside. Well, I appreciate that. We put a lot of effort into it. My wife helped a lot with the drywall. And it was a team effort. She's pretty proud of what we've accomplished up here, and she reaps the benefits too. We get to enjoy some of the stuff that's coming in, and and you know, she gets to use. We got a little tiller that I'm reviewing. It'll be out tomorrow, and she's using that for the raised bed, so she's happy to have that. And we got a new weed whacker that's coming out tomorrow. I needed a weed whacker, so that's really nice. So it's good to have this working. Crypto Limbo says Doctor Who was just too British. Yeah. At Top Gear, yeah, I agree with that too. So yeah, maybe that's it. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. JD says he remembers Sign Off. Yeah, I mean it was every night. I'd flip around the station. Some went off at 11, some went off at 11:30, some went off at midnight. There was one station that was like an independent. It went off at 2. So usually the nights that I worked, I worked 5 nights out of the 7, that second job. Those two, you know, I would watch that last station, because when I got home, you might catch like the last 5 minutes of the news, and then it was Sign Off. It's amazing to think how much life has changed, isn't it? Bro, we were saying we had a local channel that would start the day with those fighter jets. Yeah, they would sign off with it, and they would sign on with "The Day Begins." It's pretty cool, man. Psycho for you. I haven't seen you in ages, man. Good to have you in here, brother. Thank you for the compliment. Studio's looking good. Well, a labor of love. You know what I mean? Benny Hill. Oh yeah, that, you know, wasn't Benny Hill on PBS too? Like, of all the stations that played Benny Hill, it was a little risque for PBS. But I remember my dad watching it. My mom was sometimes not happy that it was on, but I thought it was hilarious. Say you'll have a laugh because the Barbie movie was funny. Cool, yeah. And I don't know, the blonde girl that's in it, I've seen her in a few other things, and always thought she was funny. So I'm sure she did well in that. SNES Nostalgia says, what kind of computer is that on the shelf in the background? There are 2 computers back there, my friend. They're actually both the same computer. They are Timex Sinclair 1000s. The little one on top, which I don't know that you can see, probably can't really see it. That's what it looked like in its original form. The one that you can see with the gray box with the keyboard next to that little monitor, that's one that I built back in like 84, 83, 85, somewhere in that range there. It was a kit, a ZX81 kit that I had to solder all together. 1K of RAM. I mean, it was just an incredible black and white, no sound, tape deck to load programs. You had to type all the programs in and save them. And over the years, the keyboard on that thing was so horrible. I made a metal box, painted it, bought a keyboard. I didn't buy it. I got it out of like a scrap pile or something. If somebody was throwing it away, it was a keyboard for like a VT100 terminal. Took it, had a book that had the wiring on how to wire a keyboard up, and wired that thing in, and it still works. I've got a video of it somewhere. If you go back on my files, look for a video called "Vintage Computer Still in Operation." Pretty awesome piece of history. Psycho for you. I remember sneaking down to watch Benny Hill after Portland wrestling. Yeah, man. Jesse, good to see you, brother. Jesse and I went to cop school together 1,000 years ago, and I'm good to see you in here. I hope you're doing well, my friend. Crypto Limbo, any suggestions on converting VHS tapes to digital? I've got tapes of dead shows. I snuck a camera into about 20 shows. Yeah, so I did this actually. There's a couple ways. You can get VCRs that have DVD players, DVD recorders. They're kind of rare. That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is you buy a little doodad that's a USB dongle, plugs in, has RCA ports on the end, and you plug your VCR into that, and it records right to your computer. I've tried them both ways. I used to have a VCR that recorded, a DVD VCR combo, and it broke. But I did probably 20 DVDs. Or what it was is I had tapes that were like the Terminator, right? Stuff that I had bought, and I don't want to throw it out, so I copied it to DVD, and then I kept the DVD. And then over the years, I've come across other stuff that I thought was interesting, and so I kept it on tape and copied it over onto a computer. It was only like $20. So crypto, you can definitely search Amazon or YouTube or eBay or whatever and find something like that. Tracy Ullman, that was it. Thank you, man. And Tracy Ullman was hilarious. She was hilarious. And another thing, Tracy Ullman, I think, had Q as a guest sometimes in the skits. And he went on to be Q in Star Trek. Jamaica Dog, if anyone is getting upset about Barbie, they are in a time loop lag. Just saying, it's a movie. We have made way more problems. Exactly. But that's what I'm talking about, Jamaica Dog and everybody else. Like, the media sucks you in, makes you focus on stuff like that so that you don't think about the real problems that we have as a society. If they can separate us and get us angry and get us to hate each other over a freaking Barbie movie, then of course we're not going to notice the real problems. You know what I mean? That's how I feel like it. Let's see here. Jenny Pez, is that a vintage Radio Shack audio mixing board behind me? It sure is, my friend. It sure is, yeah. I've got a few of those. SNES Nostalgia. Yep, that is awesome, my friend. It's a piece of my history, and I don't have a lot of it left. But JD says, Oregon Trail time. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Bro Weaver, how was Benny Hill allowed on TV? Yeah, I know, man. Like, it was crazy. Like, I don't know. You can't swear, but you get away with a lot. There was a lot of suggestion in Benny Hill. Jordan B. Heathkits were cool back in the day. Yeah, I had a Heathkit magazine, like a catalog, but everything was so expensive. So when I got that kit, I got it out of the back of a magazine. It was $19.99, and it was my first computer. I think those computers came out in like 1980, 1981, and the kits were like $100 back then, and the assembled ones were like $150. But by the time I got mine in 83 or 84, nobody wanted them anymore. The Commodore 64 was out, and it was like, forget it. Why do we want to play games? So they were dumping them. And I remember, I'm looking at a magazine, and it wasn't a computer magazine or anything. It was just a magazine, maybe Boy's Life for all I know. And it said, $19.99, assemble your own computer. And I was like, psh. So I saved up and mowed some more lawns than usual and ordered it. And when it came, I was like, I was in heaven. I mean, it was incredible. Get to control the TV set for the first time. We didn't have an Atari until 86, so my first experience with controlling the TV was on a Timex Sinclair 1000 or ZX81. Let's see here. Steve is saying, I remember going back to the computer store and buying a book of games and typing it all out and saving it to tape. Yep, I had probably 4 or 5 of those books for that computer. Still do. They're up there on the shelf. Maybe one day I'll revisit that whole thing and show it to you. Can you honk? The ATI All-in-Wonder AGB cards were great for VHS capture. Yeah, man. Yeah, that was ATI All-in-Wonder cards. I lusted after that in 2000 or 99, whenever it was, back in never afford one. William Oswald saying, get a little dongle. And that's pretty much, for like $20 you can do that. Bernie T 2122, you can point a video camera at an LCD screen and record the video digital. It works well. Cool. I think bitter. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Look at that. Somebody's tossing me a few bucks. I really do appreciate it. Hey, it's Luke. I hope you're doing well. And I figured I'd give you this. Hope everything is well, man. Well, I hope so too, brother. Are you in Tennessee, Luke? I hope you are. Don't tell me you're still at Mr. Tire. I have a promise that I'll keep if you are. But it's good to hear you, brother, and I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a great summer. Joe, never cared for Tracy Ullman. I was more of a Married with Children fan. Man, I love that show. Al is my hero. Yeah. Bro Weaver says, since you had cop training, what are your thoughts on Illinois allowing DACA non-citizens to serve as police? I know it is crazy. I don't know. That's the first I've heard of it, man. I don't know. The Army for a while would allow citizenship through serving. Maybe that's a similar idea. I think when we talk about immigrants in the country, it's important to think about integration and like assimilation. And I don't think we're doing a very good job of that. And I think that might be a way to maybe make it a little bit more integrated. I don't know. JD saying, Boy's Life, there's another trip way back in the time machine. Heard several things tonight I had forgotten about. Yeah, man, like I'm a wealth of useless ancient knowledge, my friend. I remember the 80s a lot better than I remember the 2000s. I had a bit of a drinking problem back then. Back saying, biting my tongue. Well, let's try to keep it civil, my friends. Steve is saying, what about bunkers? They would never be on TV today. Oh, yeah. Oh, Archie Bunker. Holy cow. My dad watched that show, and he'd laugh hysterically, and I was kind of young, and I don't know that I really understood it, but you catch it in reruns, and you're like, holy cow. But, man. Butch, I talked about a little earlier about new Midnight Cafe episodes. They are coming. Everything I would say is about 2 months, 3 months, 4 months behind at this point. I'm doing my best, brother, but I just, I intended for new episodes to start on July 4th. I haven't even considered filming or doing audio at this point. I'm that far behind. But I am. The studio's done. The big jobs on the property, except for one of them, are done. The problem is now all the vegetables and fruits and stuff are going to start coming in. We have a bunch of animals and that are going to need to be sent to freezer camp, as we call it. The turkeys are almost full size, and we've got some chickens. We have a bunch of roosters that need to visit freezer camp as well for winter. We can't afford to feed them all winter. So there we go. So I promise I'll try as the best I can give you. All I can say is I do put out a lot of videos. Just try my best. Try my best, my friend. But I would love to do 100 new episodes of the Midnight Cafe. William Oswald, Megan B saying, well said. Ontario Club's giving me a hands up, or a clap, I guess that is. Boys Life's magazine. Yeah. Yeah, Boys Life. There was, oh yeah, I read every episode, or every copy that came through. I was a scout all the way up through 16, 17, whatever it was. Crypto Limbo, what are your thoughts on the death of Pee Wee Herman? He was very controversial. First time I ever saw him was in a Cheech and Chong movie. Yeah. Pee Wee died, yeah. So, Pee Wee Herman, I was too old to enjoy Pee Wee's Playhouse. It seemed weird to me, but I wasn't too old to enjoy Cheech and Chong and his appearances with Elvira over the years and his kind of some of the other stuff he did. Like a lot of Hollywood people, there was some weird stuff going on in his background. But as a actor, if I can leave it at that, I enjoyed his work. Pee Wee's Big Adventure, I think I saw back in the 80s. It was pretty funny. William Oswald saying, keep up the good work. Well, I appreciate it, my friends. Penny Acres wants to know what's your thoughts on putting up a 102-inch steel whip on a mast in the yard. You can't do it, my friend. You can't do it. You got to have a ground plane for a 102, and so you'll end up with a really high SWR, so you can't do that. Now, you could put it on a metal roof, and that would act much like it would if it was sitting on a car, and your SWR would be much lower at that point. So there you go. Steve saying, gotta love freezer pets. Yeah, I mean, there it is. SNES nostalgia. If you've never heard it, you might like it, you might not. If you ever heard Art Bell, Midnight in the Desert, Coast to Coast, those kind of shows, I'm nowhere near as good, but it's in that genre. I talk a little bit about news, but as you can tell with the way I talk here on my channel, I try to keep it right down the middle. And then I spend a lot of time talking about a paranormal subject, ghosts, UFOs, whatever the topic is. Time travel is one of my favorite topics to talk about. I'd like to think that it's possible that time travel exists. Hey, aren't you that guy from the hamburger place? I don't know. Bro Weaver, Pee-wee's Playhouse is a show I hated, but my dad loved it. Yeah, Pee-wee's Playhouse was just weird. I mean, it was just weird, but to the demographic it was aiming for, little kids. I mean, it was hilariously funny, I'm sure, for them. It was larger than life. Everything was exaggerated, which is just what kids like. So, I think bitter. I'm living my best life. I didn't go to Tennessee, but I got offered a Master Tech at Dodge. Oh, no kid. Hey, I heard there was $1,000 signing bonus there, buddy. They told me, and I didn't call you because I didn't think you were looking for work at the time. But yeah, I don't know if the other kids over there. I know Tim left, but well, anyway, I don't want to get too personal here. But good for you, brother. I'm happy for you. I'll come down there and see you when you get started over there. Just remember, that guy is different than the people you're used to working for. He's a nice guy. Just don't go easy on him. Megan B, we're a diverse group of people who all enjoy Eric's videos. Eric, I'm a friend of Bill's, 34 years sober. Yeah. I'm 10 and a half years in, my friend. And I still miss it. I still think about it, especially when something bad happens or something, I go through a difficult time in life. Or pain, to be honest with you. Like you used to, as a mechanic, you injure yourself quite often, and it was a good way to drown pain. And I don't have any way of doing that now, so I just got to kind of sit in it, which is kind of fun. Yeah, the dude made millions laugh. He did. So, again, like, as an actor, he was great. Storms Radios and Cats saying, so far I'm liking Radio Oddity CB27 Pro. Yeah, I'm happy with mine. I like it. I think it's a good, very compact, one-hander type radio. So there you go. TK Sagan saying, sorry he lifts the live stream. I'm just going to, I don't even know how long it's been here. I guess it's been a while. It's been a whole hour, hasn't it? Meanwhile, Godzilla is smashing buildings off here right here. Speaking of time travel, do you remember the show Voyagers? Yeah, man, I caught that on reruns. What a shame that only lasted a year. That was a good one. Skinwalker Ranch, yep, along the same lines there. I understand, my friends. Thanks for all you do. Thanks for everything. No rush. No problem, my friend. Well, look, it's been an hour, and I have really enjoyed being here. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, maybe you'll think about doing that for me. I'd appreciate that. YouTube is changing. SENS, yes, Midnight Cafe, some of the episodes are on YouTube under its own channel. They're out there as a podcast too. I would start, if you're going to watch the show, watch it on YouTube. The first 2 seasons on YouTube, or 3. I can't remember how many seasons I did on YouTube at this point. But if you want to watch it, that's a great place. The last 2 seasons were over the air on a radio station, and so there are no picture references and stuff. So those are more podcast friendly. Of course, on the podcast, I had to cut the music out that we played on the actual radio show, but you're welcome to hopefully enjoy it. I would start with the newest season and work your way back. I think the newest season was some of my best stuff, even though it was a short one. You can find that on a podcast. Megan says 1 second at a time. Stop at 26. Wow. Yeah, I was a little older than that for sure. But, when I stopped dead in my tracks. And no one made me. Thankfully, I was lucky enough not to hit bottom. I think that my life would never have turned out the way it had if I had continued to drink. I would have stayed where I was. I would have continued doing what I did. And I would have, died living a mundane life. If you watch my video about why I quit my job and moved to the mountains, quitting drinking was step 1. That gave me the strength to do everything else. Have a good night, everybody. Alcohol free. There you go. Keep it up. Everyone's saying nice. Bro Weaver, I'm always looking for another host for the Midnight Cafe. Are you interested? I've had some guest hosts on. I don't talk with Jason anymore. I haven't talked to him in about 4 years now. We had just went our separate ways. But it's always more fun when there's somebody else to share the conversation with. All right, my friends. A lot of you in here quit drinking. That's good to hear. Good night, my friends. Good night. I want you all to take care. And remember that for everything that they try to divide us with, there's so much more that we have in common. And you can just look at the comment section here and see that. Thank you all for being fans of the channel. Thank you all for supporting me on this really weird, crazy journey that YouTube has been for me. I'm blessed, and I'm blessed because of all of you. Thank you guys. You have a good night. Take care.